Hi everyone, and thank you for joining us. We had hoped to get to this video sooner, but November was just such a crazy month for us and we're just not able to pick back up with the videos. Back in October we had did a video for some just homemade thoughts and toys and games for toddlers. We'd wanted to kind of try to get some more going on for older children too, because since Christmas was coming up, and encourage those that might be a little discouraged with their finances not to lose heart, but think outside of the box, as we like to say, and try some different things. So today we're coming to you to discuss that very thing. We're going back over the past with our older children who are now 23 and 18, thinking of some of the things we did for them during some of our most financially tight Christmases. I believe it was the summer or the early fall of 2004. My husband had hurt his back. It was not the first time. He'd hurt it multiple times in the past, but this time was pretty severe. And about then, we had a lot of adjustments to do, but most of all the finances became very tight. And that's when a lot of creativity became to the utmost important to us. And in fact, we found that the more creative we were, we found that the better time we had with it during the holidays. We were creative prior to that, but this really was the time that things started to spark for us to really try to get away as much as possible from the consumerism of what Christmas has turned into. Some of the things, and we still do today, even now that they're older, but they both still live at home, so it works out because they still have their household responsibilities that they have to keep up. We do coupons to our children, and some of their favorite ones have been a day off chores or a stay up night. Of course, that's a little bit different now that they're older, but when they were in their early teens, to be able to stay up all night on the weekend was, just this great thing. They'd stay up reading books all night, or I think at that point in time they had Game Boys, they'd play those. They also like whatever, maybe their special meal. They could pick the meal they want. We've done it two ways in the years. We'll give them a coupon that they can pick a meal with whatever's in the cupboard, because maybe that week that they get to pick that special meal and they want to have lasagna and all we have in the cupboard is stuff for macaroni and cheese or just hamburger or whatever. Obviously they have to stay within that realm of what's available to us at that time. But then we also give them a coupon that they can cash in when they know that maybe money's flowing a little bit better, that they can pick any meal they want. So when we go to the store, then we're prepared to get those items needed if we don't already have them to make whatever meal they chose. Another coupon that we've done is a dessert. You could do coupons for family night game, let them pick the game, let them create the family night. You could do coupons for just a dad and them time or a mom and them time if you have multiple children and it's hard to maybe get a moment alone. So just be creative with it. We've always used them for stocking stuffers, but you could put them in a box and wrap it. I mean, if that's all you've got to offer during the holidays, actually it can be, take it and make it great. I mean, make it something special. And there's a lot of thought put into gifts like that versus just going to the store and buying. So I guess that's where we're coming from. That anything that you give, just make it great. Don't look at it as not being something that is important or significant. Those type of gifts are actually become the most significant to a child. Another thing that we'd done in the past, I think we only did it once with you guys, didn't we? Was we did the 12 days of Christmas. We started 12 days prior. We matched something up with each day, and it was little things. Back when we did that, we were eating stuff we wouldn't eat now, but like the Dum Dums. Did we do the 12 drummers drumming? So by the time we got to the 12th day, they had 12 Dum Dum suckers. Little pieces of candy, little trinkety things that you can make or pick up. It just becomes a fun, creative thing to do. I did it with Ron one year, and for 2 turtle doves, he got 2 fuzzy gloves. He used to love to ice fish, so I got these really fuzzy ice fishing gloves for him. And then Partridge in a Pear Tree, he had this one fuzzy hat to cover his ears and stuff when he went ice fishing. So I got this stick and put it in a pot and hung that hat on it. So it was just kind of a fun, creative thing to do, but it also stretches out the gifts. If you if you're really having a hard time. It just takes something that could be very sad and depressing for a child or for the parents, more often for the parents than the child, and gives them an opportunity to stretch and just make it great. You know, let the kids know if things are tough, and then just be as creative as you can. Another thing that we did.
One of my most useful gifts has been a boy.
Board.
My lap test. Nothing on it, just a boy.
Do we want to tell that?
What? I'm against it.
In our homemade, I'm laughing because the cameraman back here is telling me that his most useful gift that he's ever had has been a board. And I said, a board? And he said, yeah, he had 2 lap desks made. One of them was just a plain flat board. And if you watch the homemade Christmas video on our channel, we eventually get to that point and you'll see he got 2 lap desks. One is a very nice lap desk that opens in old-fashioned style. And one, he just wanted one that he could take with him and write in the car. So, but that's been the one he says has been his most useful gift. And how many years ago was that?
2, 3?
At least 3 years ago. So it's kind of good to get a gift that you're still using. I mean, so many people get gifts and you say, well, what did I get last year? You don't even remember. But okay, on to another idea. I have 2 shadow boxes here. One I did for Ron, and one Ron made for our older son. And what we did was we tried to take, for Ron, for example, we were doing genealogy in his family, and we had gotten a bunch of stuff from his father after his father passed away, and we found all these things that his grandfather had saved. So it would have been Ron's great-grandfather that all this memorabilia was from, things such as the wedding certificate. And I'll try to see if I can show this to you a little bit. This down here was the wedding certificate for him, and they were married in 1903. Is that right? Yeah, that's right. And up here's a picture of them. Over here was a stocking social that they would have gotten years ago. They saved the little stocking that came with it. And this was held at, I believe it would have been his great-grandmother's family. This is the invitation to the wedding. This is just a neat postcard that was to one of them in the memorabilia that they'd gotten. Certificates of death. Well, actually, it's not the certificate. It's the write-up in the newspaper, and then the obituary from the funeral home. So, since at that point in time we were doing the genealogy in his family, that's what I had to offer him that year, and he really liked it. And so it all turned out well. This is also a letter written to Clarence Upson, I believe from his father, in 1910. So, yeah, they never got rid of anything. So it's kind of neat when you get to go through those boxes, but it's also quite terrifying to think, wow, what are you going to do with it all?
That's why I like we are.
Meaning that we don't get rid of a lot either.
We're amateur historians.
This box, this is one of those really tight years. Our oldest has always really been into World War II. And we had, over time, collected papers and stuff that we'd found at garage sales or estate sales concerning the war, things in the past, 1930s and 40s we're really focusing on in our family. So we'd had some of those papers. And then this is some other stuff that my husband had inherited, money from that era, money from Germany, England, Japan. So we just tried to create the shadow box to go after the things that RJ really liked. This was an old window. It was actually a double. I don't know if that's called a double pane or if the double pane is too deep. But anyways, it was twice this size. So Ron just reduced the size of it and made the back frame for it for the shadow box. So if you've got a child, though, I guess my point is if you got a child that's into a certain item or certain things, has collected certain things, this is a nice thing to be able to do for them. And maybe you can't build your own box like I couldn't. I had to go buy one. So that's why Ron got the one he did and why RJ got the one he did. It's just kind of a neat thing to do. Now, and it doesn't even have to be in a box. for Josiah, we had a bunch of papers that we just thought things he'd be interested in, and just gave them to him to do with what he wanted. It was just a box we wrapped as nice as we could, and things of interest. You know, that's kind of how we go a lot with our kids. We have how Michigan gained the UP at the cost of the Toledo Strip. Crew cut Custer, not scalped, experts say. All these are just old articles, papers from the 80s or 70s. Reagan, when Reagan got in. This is a train station, a very unique train station in a town next to us, and I've always admired that train station, always wondered the history of it. It just happens to be an article from 1983 when that train station closed down. So storms, big storms that have come through, facts of history that maybe our children have heard about. Just things we've saved and come across. Another thing that Ron had gotten was his father collected these gold stamps, a commemorative type thing, and we went through to find things again that appealed to our children, that maybe followed their set of interest. He had a Jack London stamp, and since, as we've said before in other videos, he's our number 2 son Josiah is a very gifted writer, that we thought that would be very interesting for him. So anyways, I hope that these ideas help maybe with some older children. I know older children are harder to do for than the younger children when it comes to stuff like this, and you really have to be just totally thinking outside of the box and in a groove with them, especially because the technology contains so much of their interest. But anyways, I hope this helps somebody out there. And I hope I hope it helps somebody out there. Have a great day. God bless.